Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com again. Bringing you a cool little streamer pattern. This is one I found. I was surfing YouTube the other day trying to find something different to tie. And I believe McFly had this video out, and I thought it was really cool looking. And I thought I'd mess around with what I had and see what I could come up with. And pretty much it's the same one, but it's a really cool looking fly. I really like the looks of it. I can't wait to get it on the water. I guarantee I'm going to catch fish with it. And I'm going to share it with you guys too in case you didn't see his video. One of the main differences is the way I'm going to tie it is I'm going to tie it on a Firehole 839 hook in a size 8. This is a small, like a rainbow trout style pattern, just a little fry. And we're going to put the hook in the vise there. And for thread, I'm just using some tan, 70 denier tan thread. Use 140 if you like 140 better. I usually do, but we're just going to start that on there, wrap it back. And then the next thing I'm going to put on is some UV polar chenille. This was the pink, hot pink in the micro. And this is just going to add a little ball. It's going to make a nice little belly on the fly. And it just gives it a nice little touch. So we're going to find the end of it here and tie it down. And we're going to tie it down about 2/3 of the way up the hook from the bend. So back far enough that you're going to have lots of room for your head, but yet far enough up that it's just going to be like for where the belly is, at the front of the belly. So we're just going to wrap that on there, and we're going to make just a nice little ball. And you could do this with dubbing if you want. Just make a dubbing ball. But there you go. We'll just wrap that on there. And then I'm going to cover that up, or tie it off. And we'll cut this off. Okay, now we're going to wrap our thread back to the bend of the hook. And I could have tied this on first, but I didn't. I tied the UV on. So now I'm going to tie on some, this is Mylar tinsel, the pearl Mylar tinsel. It's just a little bit easier for me to control if I put it in a bodkin. So we're going to put it in there. And we're just going to tie that on to the shank of the hook. Right at the bend there. And then I'm going to bring my thread back up to the eye. Don't worry about trapping down fibers on that polar chenille. You're going to cover them all up here anyway. And I'm going to go to my rotary vise for this part to run it up here a little quicker. So we're just going to run this Mylar tinsel up over top of it here. And yeah, you see I'm covering up all that polar chenille, the fibers there. That's fine. It's just to get the pink showing through. So once you get that all covered, then I'm going to tie the Mylar off. Okay, and there you have the main body of the fly. Now, the next thing, the only other material we're going to use on this is some ice dubbing, which is really cool. So it's a really simple pattern, not a lot of material to it. First color I'm using is some ice dub Minnow belly. And what you're going to do is you're going to pull some of this out. And you're going to get the fibers all lined up together. And we're just going to keep pulling them and matching them so you get a nice flowing, get a nice flow to it. You see how they're all lined up together. And that's what you're looking for. Then we're going to set it down on top of the hook. And I want it to go just beyond the bend of the hook, like about half the shank of the body, just past it. And then we're going to tie this down. Okay, and then we're going to pull this back over top and get it tied down. So you don't want too much there, so you don't want to build too much up, but you want to have a nice amount there. That's a good amount. You can see how much I have there. That's not too bad. So now next thing we're going to do is put our next color on. For me, the next color I'm going to use is some UV purple. Use a red, whatever color you want. You don't even have to use this color. Use a black. If you have a black color, you can make it like a black-nosed dace. That would look cool too. I was just doing it like a little rainbow or something. And we're going to do the same thing here. Pull out some fibers, and then we're just going to keep teasing them in our fingers. Just keep pulling them together here to get all the fibers lined up. Alright, and then once you get them lined up, now this black isn't as nice as the Minnow belly in its length, so it's a little bit shorter. But there you can see I got them all pretty well lined up. And then we're just going to lay this on top of the white. Okay, I think I got a little bit more than I wanted, so I'm not going to... What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to trim that... I just snapped my line off there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a little trick here. I just snapped my line off. I want to keep this tight. I don't want it to unravel. So I'll take my hackle pliers and I'm going to clamp my hackle pliers onto the line there. And that puts some weight on it. You can see how it's hanging down. It puts some weight on it. It'll hold it in place until you can get your bobbin rethreaded. Okay, now that I got my bobbin rethreaded, I'm just going to leave that hang there in place. And I'm just going to tie back over top of it just to trap all that thread in place there. And I saved it so it doesn't unwind on me or anything like that. So that's a good way, that's a good little trick that you can use to catch your line. Just hang a pair of hackle pliers on it, and usually that's enough weight to hold it in place. So, like I said, I have a little bit too much. If I took and doubled this back over, that would be more than I really wanted. So I'm just going to trim this off. I'm going to trim it at a nice sharp angle there, and then I'm going to taper my head down, as you'll see. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with my back color, which for me, I'm using this golden brown for ice dubbing here. So same thing again. Just pull some out, straighten out them fibers. And once you get a nice amount there and you get them all straightened out like you want them, put it on top of that purple. And that'll make a nice blending, shading of colors there to it. Okay, then I'm going to double back on this. And we'll tie this off. Cover up our wraps. Now, the last thing I want to do here before, I'm going to put some eyes on this, but before I do that, I want to clean up this head. And to do that, I'm going to put some dubbing on it. I'm just going to take that golden brown that I just used, and I'm going to dub a head on it with the golden brown ice dub. And it's going to match the head. It looks really nice when you do it this way. Okay, so I'm just going to get my ice dub dubbed on there nice and tight. And then we're going to cover up all my wraps. Build up a nice little head there, and then we'll tie it off. There we go, whip finish. Okay, now the last step on this is I'm going to put some eyes on it. And for eyes, we're going to use some 3D ice, 3D living eyes from Fish Skulls. And I'm using the ice color in 3mm. And what we're going to do is we're just going to place one on each side. And then I'm going to use my bone dry from Solarez to set it in place and make a nice hard head on it. So there's a little bit of tackiness to these eyes, and when you put that ice dubbing on there, it'll hold it in place well enough until you get the Solarez on it. So just put the eye on the side there. Then I'm going to do the other side. Okay, make sure you got them lined up nice and straight there, like that. And then we're just going to hit it with some bone dry. So it's a really simple pattern. And it's an awesome looking pattern too. I love the look of this. This is one of my favorite looking streamer patterns that I've seen in a long time. What I actually do is put 2 coats of bone dry on here. So I put one that will soak in and tack those eyes into place, and it'll soak into that ice dubbing real well, but it'll hold those eyes into place too. And we'll hit that with our light, and then once I get that on, then I'm going to come back in with another coat, and you can use, we'll just use some here anyway. We're going to use some thick, we'll put some thick solar res on it, just to make a nice hard head on it. There we go. This will make a nice round hard head on it. So we'll just hit that and cover it all up. And once we get it on there, I'm going to spin it good to make sure I get a nice round head. And we'll hit it with our light. And that's all that's to it. So it's a really simple pattern, a nice minnow pattern. You can see the look of it there. It looks fishy. And it's going to catch you lots of fish. I guarantee it is, because like I said, it's a lot of the things that I look for in mind. Size, color, flashiness. Those are all things that I like to have whenever I tie fly. So give that a try. All the material you can find at the shop. Fire hole hooks, the 839s. This is the down eye streamer hook. I love them. I've been using a lot of them. Size 8 is this one. You can even go smaller. I would suggest going smaller. And we got a variety of colors of ice dubs. Try different ones. See what you like. And experiment. So have fun. That's the fun of tying flies, is finding different patterns, experimenting, see what works in your area. Don't forget to go to the shop at holsingersflyshop.com and like us on our social media outlets. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Sean Holsinger.